um, at the time, I didn't think I could fathom a time where you actually would not be working. So I always just try to,
Same.
um, I always had the mindset of I'm going to put myself personally in a position to where, if need be, I can carry us, and anything you bring that just adds more value to our life as a whole.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life After I Do. I am your host, Nisha G, and I'm here with my lovely husband.
Your husband, Molito.
Molito. Hello.
Hello, babe.
How's it going, babe?
Gucci, baby.
Why are you being weird?
What are you talking about?
Is that what we're doing?
That's how I normally sound.
Okay.
Ugh.
How was your week?
It's not funny when you do it.
Why not?
Why be your own person, dude?
Why? Why can't I do it?
My week was good, baby.
Oh,
How was your week?
caught me off guard.
It was a week.
Well, I mean, but you said it was good, so that's what
I
caught me
mean,
off guard.
I realize that every week I'm alive is good.
This is true.
Better than most. You know what I'm saying? I have a adorable little girl that drives me crazy, and I have a wife that was wifing this week.
What was different?
Oh, you know what was different?
He's not referring to sexual activity.
It says who?
Goodbye. Good darn bye.
It
Elaborate on your week.
was good. You know, nothing eventful happened. It was calm. It was steady.
How was work?
Work was work. It's always that. We spent 3 days together. You know, we had some good times, and it's always good when we had time just to be out with the family. Even though you like soaked up my weekend, but it was cool.
Okay, you always complain about getting time together. Then when you get time together, you complain about it taking too much of your time.
I just want one day, like, or at least half the day, where I can just do nothing.
You get that all the time.
No, I don't. Every
Yeah,
time we
you
go,
do.
I'm the one driving.
Okay, that's not true. That's not. I'm not even gonna sit up there and let you cap. You know, I've been driving a lot because you always say, "Babe, can you drive?" Or I'll offer to drive.
How was your week, babe?
No, no. You drive all the time, babe.
I drive 98.4% of the time. I did the numbers. Oh, I will tell you why my week was so good. Because the tax guy called and we don't owe.
All right. Thank God. Thank God for Jesus. Thank God. Was it last year we owed or the year before that?
The year before.
The year before that, oh my gosh. I remember I had my friend with me. My shout out to my friend Leslie. In Leslie Land on Instagram if you're looking for a realtor and you're here in
A
California.
fab realtor.
A fabulous realtor. She went with me to the bank and I was like, "Oh, I got to stop by the bank." And I was like, "I got to pull the money out for the taxes." And she was like, "The taxes?" And I was like, "Girl, yes." I was like, "We owe." I was like, "I got to go get all my damn money out the bank to pay the IRS." And she looked at me. She was like, "You going to pay him?"
Right.
I was like, "Yes."
We're gonna pay him because we like to keep on living the way we live him.
I was like, "I'm gonna go." I don't want to. Trust me. It was the hardest withdrawal
Of my life.
I ever had to do.
Of my
I was
life.
like, are you sure they said in the thousands or was it like
That's what they said. No, it was thousands. It wasn't hundreds. It was thousands.
The toughest withdrawal of my life.
It was thousands. It was not hundreds. It was thousands.
So,
But yeah, but that's
so
why
I'm grateful.
that's why the week was good.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
It just clicked. I said because I got good news.
Yeah.
Shouts out to my CPA, Robert Suchan. Shouts out.
If you're in the market for a CPA, I guess.
Robert Suchan.
Suchan
and Associates.
And Associates.
Check them out.
Wow. What else happened with your week, babe?
That's it. That was a highlight of my week. When he called me, he was like, "I got some numbers. Let's talk about them." And I was like, all right, Robert, let's talk about him. Shit. Like, what it's gonna be. And I'm already expecting the worst. And he was like, well, actually, you're gonna get I said, let me go ahead and call off tomorrow.
Bye. Good day. Bye. He's all, babe, I'm not going to work on Thursday. I was like, and why are you not going to work on Thursday?
Because we've been blessed by the IRS.
Bye, silly. So silly. See, this is how I know we can't win the lottery. This is exactly how I know
Why?
we can't win the lottery.
Why you say that?
You would be acting super different. Like if we were to win like $100 million like on the spot, you would be so, oh my gosh.
Well, okay, here's the thing.
You would act
Here's
so
the thing.
different.
If we win $100 million, I know for a fact that it's gonna be a couple weeks before we get that money. So I know that I have to work for at least the next 3 weeks. So I'm gonna work 3 more weeks. But after that third week, oh, hell yeah!
So we used to like play the hypotheticals, like the what ifs, you know. And I would always say, like, if we won like $100 million, or even if we won like $50 million in the lottery or whatever, and we got to walk away like with that amount of money, he would always say, I would still work. I would still work for the benefits. I would work part-time for the benefits. And I was like, you are capping.
See, hold on. Back then I was capping. But now I have enough years in for early retirement where I can keep my medical. That's all. I just don't want to pay medical. So I'm out.
So now you're not holding on to that lie?
I'm out. It wasn't a lie back then. I would have wanted to work like 1 day a week. Keep the medical going.
If you had won $100 million,
we still need medical.
We would be able to pay for it.
One event could bankrupt us. Medical bills are expensive.
I know medical bills are expensive.
That's fine. Okay.
Anywho,
your week, boo.
My week was actually really great. The highlight of my week was.
I already know what you're gonna say. I already know.
That's my baby, y'all. That's my baby. Okay, so every time y'all tune in every week, I don't want to hear no complaints about she always talking about her damn daughter. Because this is my life. Okay, this is my life.
Okay.
So anywho, the highlight of my week was
what was it?
Being able to like finally like tell baby girl that she got an invite to team.
Oh.
So most of you should know by now, our daughter does dance and gymnastics, and so she just got her first official invite for a competitive gymnastics team for her gym. So she is got invited to the bronze team, which is like the first level competition.
It's just a way for them to get more of my money.
So so she was really excited. So I had spoken to the coach and everything. Phoenix kind of had known, I guess, because the coaches had been talking to them, because this past couple of months she's been going through evaluations. So she's been going through evaluations to see if she would get an invite to team or not. And so she's been telling me, she was like, Mom, I'm going to go to bronze. I'm going to go to bronze. And I was like, okay, babe, like, you know, they haven't said anything. I haven't heard anything. And then I started hearing things from other parents. And some of the other parents were telling me like, oh yeah, like, you know, their daughter didn't make it, or they had to go back to rec. And so I was like, well, how are you guys finding out? Like, no one has spoken to me yet. And I guess they were kind of like waiting to tell, like, I guess the kids that got invited to team. And so I had spoke with her coach at the end of practice last week, and she was like, oh yeah, she's on the list for an invite to team, and they should be, you know, getting communications out to you guys by March and blah blah blah. And so I went to the front desk to speak to one of the team coaches. She's the team coach for like the level 10s and stuff, so pretty much like the juniors and seniors and all that. And she was like, yeah, I have her on my list. She's official. She's on the team. And I was like, my baby. So I got a video recording of her, and I was like, Phoenix, guess what? And she was like, what? And I was like, you made the team. And she's like, I did. So that was like the highlight of my week. She was
fun that she acted like she was surprised, like she didn't already know.
Well, she didn't officially know. Like, she didn't officially know. That was the point. And so she was really excited. So to see her excited made me excited.
So we need y'all to like, comment, share this video, because my daughter is taking up every ounce of we done canceled all vacations for the year.
I know we haven't yet.
There will be no birthday. There will be no adult birthday parties. We are no longer getting anything for our anniversary.
Bye.
All of our extra cash will be spent on gymnastics.
Yeah.
We appreciate the support.
Yeah. So the only other thing was like I had to break it to her that she wouldn't be able to do competitive dance
Thank God.
because the like if the schedules kind of conflicted. So she was a little upset about that. And of course we had like a whole crying session and I was like, you can still yeah, she was like, but I love dance. And I was like, well, maybe still be able to do like a couple of classes
No, did you see my
recreational
face though? It looked just like her. Look,
recreationally, like, like she does. But I asked her, stop making fun of my baby. I had asked her, I was like, stop. I asked her if, which one she wanted to do. I was like, you can choose. Like, even if you don't choose to do gymnastics,
I want to do
we
both.
can do dance. I was like, but it needs to be your choice because I don't want to, like, just, like, push her in one way or another because I can genuinely see the
She loves
love
dance.
she has for dance.
loves dance.
And it's starting to be one of those things where I can see it, like, in her body. You know what I mean? Like, it's starting
Because
to
she be
become.
gyrating them hips.
Oh my gosh. Ever since that child learned a body roll and a leg wrap, she ain't stopped. Her feet do not stay on the ground. If she not doing a back bend, she doing a split. If she ain't doing a split, she doing a leg hold. If she ain't do I mean those feet, she don't have both feet on the ground at all times.
Hands on the ground.
So that was my highlight. But you know what? I have to tell you about this.
Tell me about it, boo.
Listen here, it's going on like wildfire too on TikTok.
What we talking about? Oh God.
Tyler Perry's new movie, Mea Culpa.
What is that about?
Listen here, I love Tyler.
I don't even know what it's about.
I love Kelly Rowland. Let me just start off by saying,
Hold on.
skin and hair
Hold
in
on.
that movie,
Hold on.
flawless.
Hold on. You didn't tell me Kelly was in it. Now I'm intrigued.
As soon as you turn on Netflix, it's the first thing that comes up. Obviously, he ain't a true fan because he ain't keeping up. So, but like I said, like I mean, the only thing
that beautiful chocolate woman.
The only thing that kept me really entertained, like I was talking to my sister about it today, and I was like, really, the only thing that kept me engaged was what's his name? Trevante? I think it's Trevante.
Oh, really?
I hope I'm not murdering his name. I probably am.
don't
But
matter.
that's one of the things. That's one of the interests that kept me interested in the movie.
The man, huh?
Oh my gosh!
He look good. He was looking good. He didn't look better than Kelly though. I ain't even seen it. I know he looked better.
No, Kelly's skin was like glowing.
When has she not been glowing?
And her hair.
I've been watching Kelly glow for over 20
anywho, back to
years.
the movie. I don't know if at first I thought it was me until I started reading the comments and the reviews that I've been seeing on social media. There was just a lot of things that did not make sense.
That's most
like the storyline itself. I was like, after I finished watching it, I said, "Now what was the point in all that?"
Just wait till the director's cut.
What I was just left befuddled. I was left befuddled.
Behooved.
It behooved me
Bewildered.
that there was a scene where she ran maybe a block, maybe 2 blocks, but then the car ride that she took back to the house she was running from was like 20 minutes. It behooved me.
You don't know what shortcut you took.
Listen here. It behooved me. And if you haven't seen it, sorry, spoiler alert, everyone's pretty much seen it by now.
I haven't.
But you don't really watch like movies like that. But anywho, there's a scene where, okay, I'm gonna just say it. Like I said, spoiler alert. And when I saw it, it almost made me like turn it off. So there's a scene where this is after he has told her that he finds her attractive. He gets upset because she is attracted to him, but she won't tell him that she's attracted to him, right? And so, he starts, throwing a fit like men do. And he has this girl come over and she like walks up and she's butthole naked and she was like, "Oh, hi." And she introduces herself and he was like, "Oh, it's fine. She's not staying." And then he walks over to like next to the bed and then she just starts like to him, and Kelly is standing there and he's looking at her in like they're making eye contact while this woman is doing this. So Kelly gets upset. She walks off. She pretends like she's gonna leave. She gets in her car. Her PI texts her some videos that would indicate that her husband was having an affair. So of course this enraged her. She got upset. So she goes back upstairs, and when she gets back upstairs, now he and the girl are actually like engaging in intercourse, right? And so Kelly walks up there and like watching them as they like, are doing this. And then she gets off of him and then he gets up and him and Kelly start kissing. And then he drives from one loft to another loft, which looks like the exact loft they were just in, and then they make love. I was like,
Oh, that sounds
what?
like a Derek Jackson situation.
It's like, okay, so we just gonna have Kelly come in behind home chick after she was just riding his hips? Like, well, that's what we doing? Like, you literally just saw him with this woman, raw dog, and now you fit. I said, I can't.
It's a Derek Jackson
I can't.
situation.
I said, this is too
It's
much
a
for
Derek,
me. Too much.
a
And
DJ
then
situation.
despite that, I think for me too, because of how the trailer and everything was set up, I was expecting to go like on an emotional roller coaster, right? You know how much I love movies. Like going to the movies is my thing. I love watching movies. I like thrillers. I like action. I like movies. So as the storyline is going, I'm waiting for that moment where I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be good. Or like a twist or a turn that's going to surprise me. I felt like it was a little predictable. I felt like I knew what was coming next, and because I kept feeling like I knew what was coming next, I never got like that high. I never went up,
I felt that way about movies for the last 10 years. That's why I don't really watch them.
and I don't understand because I feel like it should have
Nothing
given
surprises me.
me a lot.
It wasn't giving.
It was a little
Okay,
disappointing.
but what we giving today?
Yeah,
'Cause you
so
don't want a whole rant.
sorry. Sorry. Well, it's my turn to talk about the week. But
That was
anywho,
your day, not your week.
bye. Anywho, I wanted to get into the topic that we're going to be talking about today, which is
Whatever.
about
I really let my wife go.
men like being providers. So I wanted to get into this. I wanted to get into this because I feel like there is so much pressure on both sides, both men and women, and I feel like sometimes it can be unnecessary pressures, and I think what society likes to do is interject very traditional aspects about marriage and relationship and trying to apply them to modern day without making the adjustments, and then we're all putting unnecessary pressures on each other, and then we're all like judging each other and judging men for not doing this and then judging women for doing this and vice versa and everything. But this particular clip had stood out to me because of him saying basically like, if you're not doing this, essentially you should not be dating or you don't deserve to date. So I wanted to get your perspective about it and just kind of like have a little bit of a dialogue about it because I thought it was really
A
interesting. But
dialogue or a monologue?
just roll the clip.
I'll be on her nerves, y'all.
Just roll the clip. I have a lot of laundry to get done.
So what if you couldn't provide?
Then I'm not ready to be in a relationship with a woman. In fact, that's how it used to be in the old days. You have to make enough money to be able to support a woman, or you shouldn't be in a relationship with a woman if you cannot support her. I believe that because again, the same guys that will argue against what I'm saying right now, because I know a lot of guys get upset about my viewpoint on this, they complain about single mothers and women raising weak men. In order for a woman to be there to raise her kids, a man has to be able to provide enough for the entire family so that she doesn't have to work. There's nothing wrong with women working, and women can do a great job. It's more beneficial for a family if there's one sole provider. That's not possible in modern society today. Everything is too expensive. In which case, it's like, well, then maybe you're not ready to start a family. Maybe you're not ready to get married. You know,
Well,
as
what
a
if
man.
they're never ready?
All right.
So,
What are your thoughts?
no,
Beck?
what are your thoughts? I want to get your
What are your
point of
thoughts?
view.
I think he make he.
I want to get yeah. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't. Now I'm uncertain. Do you
Oh
want
my
me to
gosh.
talk or not?
Stop it.
I think he made some valid points.
Okay.
Uh, to the degree that I can only now let me preference this by saying I can only speak for myself. These are my beliefs, and they may not be popular, but I do believe that as a man, it is your responsibility to provide. Like I've said many times before, on more levels than one. And I also don't think it's. I also don't think that you're less than a man if you're not providing 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not fond of the 50-50 conversation. I'm not too fond of that because I feel like a relationship is never gonna be 50-50. One person's always gonna do more than the other. And in the financial sense, you being a man, being a provider, you have to, ensure, security, financial security is also, physical security, for your partner. So, I do think that a lot of times, a lot of men jump into things and that are not they're not necessarily ready to be fathers, but
Mhm.
that doesn't discount the fact or discount the ones rather that um are faced with fatherhood or marriage or whatever the case may be, and then they step up to the plate. I also believe that some of the blame lies on women for chasing certain guys, but in the aspect in which he's talking, um, I do feel like as a man, you should not step to the plate to date or to involve yourself with a woman unless you can take care of her basic necessities. Now, I'm not saying provide her a extravagant lifestyle, but as long as if you guys are married and under one roof, if you could maintain that with your income or singly or at least some baseline level of living, I do think that that should be the minimum requirement. Now, if she goes out and she works in addition to what you have, that's beneficial to the unit, but I don't necessarily believe that you should rely 100% on your spouse or your wife per se. This is just my views, right? Now, because like even the way we have it set up right now, right? It's like I don't necessarily rely on any income you make because I always say your money is your money. But at the same time, I'm not going to, if given the opportunity, put that income to good use, right?
Mhm.
And I also understand that there's been times in our relationship, especially early on, where we could not have this dynamic because there was time where you made more money. But even when you made more money, my whole goal, my whole vision was to get to a place where I was the ithel factor
Mhm.
breadwinner, you know what I'm saying? And where I could take care of you 100% if need be. Because um I also knew the kind of partner I had. I knew that you were not going to work unless the situation called for it. And even then I knew that you, setting your career to the side would be something you take seriously. It had to be for a serious purpose. But I also never could fathom, um, at the time, I didn't think I could fathom a time where you actually would not be working. So I always just try to,
Same.
um, I always had the mindset of I'm going to put myself personally in a position to where, if need be, I can carry us, and anything you bring that just adds more value to our life as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, I like what you said. I think the thing is now, when we look at, so for instance, I know I had read there was a study that was done, and it said the average household income in California for two, like basically working parents, is like a little over $100,000, and then if it's a single, like a single parent, it's like subtracted by like 40,000, I think it is. And given with how things are set up financially in the world today, and given the amount of debt that, like consumer debt, the percentage of consumer debt that has risen since the pandemic,
Mhm.
it's it's not so easy to say that a man can provide financially 100%.
I
Like
mean,
it doesn't necessarily make sense considering
he even admitted that at the end of this video, and
right.
that's what I didn't agree to. Like, if you understand the climate and the times that we're in now, then you should know that it's not possible or logical for a lot of men to be, in fact, 100% providers. The climate and the job market and the cost of living now is ridiculous. So now you have to. That's why I'm always say like the term provider. It's so broad that it doesn't necessarily mean one thing or the other. It encompasses a lot of things.
But women primarily
Right,
are referring
to
to
finance,
finances.
right? But I also think you have, I'm gonna generalize this and say I also think you have the masses that understand for the most part, it's gonna take 2 to grow.
Incomes. Yeah.
It's gonna take 2 incomes to grow, and those of us that are fortunate to not need 2 incomes, um, we're just blessed to be in that situation, right? It's not to say that we had a head start, it's just that we made some
Or
decisions.
that it's not difficult
Right.
sometimes.
It's
Like,
just that we've made some decisions to, um, that worked out in our favor. Like for us, for instance, right? I think we both normally know that we'd be financially further ahead if you were working, right?
yeah,
Because of the income you could bring in because of your
the income
education,
that I had.
right? Because of your education, all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? And I think we understand that when we put our 2 incomes together, that it would elevate our standard of living because we would be able to afford a lot more things with the introduction of your income. But at the same time, we place a lot of value on the standard of upbringing of our off child. So it's kind of like
Our
we,
off child.
I mean, of our
You're
offspring,
trying to say our child and
Yeah.
offspring at the same
right?
time.
Off child of our offspring, right? So it's kind of like we weighed the pros and cons of the situation, and we decided
Yeah.
that it's better just for you to be around in her life,
Especially just like now.
right?
Because we've even had the conversation. We were having the conversation about me going back to work because part of me wants to go back to work. And I feel like if I kind of get back in there, like maybe part-time or even if I can do something remote, but a lot of that is still revolving around what she needs. And yes, it would be nice to have the additional income.
Mhm.
But I wanted to go back to like what he was saying when he said that if a man cannot see himself providing for a woman 100%,
Mhm.
like even today, even though he said he understands what the climate is like today, then he shouldn't pretty much be involving himself with the woman.
Mhm.
Another thing, that I have
That
heard.
could be taken multiple ways.
Explain.
Because as men, a lot of times we know that, you know, when you meet a woman, the extent of what you would go out and do for her,
Hmm.
right? So I can't speak for me because obviously I've been with the same woman forever. But
But if you were getting back
right,
out in the dating
right,
pool.
I would know the certain type of woman that I would be looking for, and it would take a woman to check these boxes in order for me to provide her with the same life I'll provide you, right?
Hmm.
In order for me to go out there and literally hold her up while she lives her life as softly as possible, right? But at the same time, I do think that a lot of men view chicks as, what they call jump offs. Like this is just something where I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna pass along. And a lot of times is that I don't necessarily agree with because I feel like that's you wasting not only are you wasting your own time, but you're wasting the young lady's time. And so as a man, like after having a couple conversations, you have a general idea of what it would be like with the young lady or
Hmm.
whatnot, right? So in that instance, I would say that a man would knows off bat, right? Any woman that you would not lay down your life for or marry, you know that you're not going to care for her or even try to provide for her to that extent.
Hmm.
It's just like how the ones that you may date some, but you only marry a few.
Right.
So it's like it's that mentality.
So, okay. So when we talk about provision, like I said, most of the time women are referring to finances,
Financial.
right? I don't necessarily, like, don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily disagree with what he's saying. I do think that um if in the position, a man should be financially responsible to his woman. Okay?
To his family.
To his family, to his woman. Well, I mean, even
His
if you didn't
family.
have kids, like you were still financially responsible to me without before we had children.
And I'll take care of you.
Okay, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Um, the other side to that, which is what I heard today, and what I'm starting to hear a lot is even if a man comes in and takes 50% off your plate financially, that's still 50% you don't have to be accounted to.
Mhm.
So 50% should be better than none. So basically trying to say there should be nothing wrong with a man and a woman going 50-50.
Because at the end of the day, even if you guys are going 50-50, he's still providing 50% ease, right?
Right. Financially.
Financial ease. Right?
Financially.
Now, and that's why I always say providing is more than financial, because maybe you guys have to go 50-50 on the bills because of the climate and the level of education, the jobs you have. So maybe you have to go 50-50 on the bills. But then at the same time, he's also taking care of 100% of all the quote unquote manly duties.
But see, and that's
Right,
where things
right.
get messed up. That's where things get messed up.
What?
Because when we talk about going 50-50 on finances, right?
Mhm.
It's 50-50 on finances, but in most cases, it's still 100% of domestic duties on the woman.
But then again, that's not, to me, that's not partnership. If you're 50-50,
You 50-50 across the
you're
board.
50-50 across. Well, you're not going to be 50-50 across the board. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean.
But like, for instance, like, you know, when we started off when we were young, because we've been in high school, fresh out of high school, living together, right? I did most of the cooking. I was raised to cook. I knew how to
wish we
cook.
could go back to that time.
All right, right. So it's like, and even though I did most of the cooking, I still helped around the house.
Yeah.
Right? The only thing I wouldn't clean would be a bathroom, but everything else was up for me to clean. And you made it a point that I was cleaning these other things as much as you were, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I was still the one putting the gas in your car. I was still the one getting your oil changes. I was getting your tires rotated. I still took on like the quote unquote manly things.
Yeah.
I still did all those things. And I still did most of the cooking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did some of the housework. So, but at the same time, you were at that time, I believe it wasn't necessarily completely 50-50 because you were making a little more than I was, so you were covering a little more bills, right? And as we both progressed and our situations changed, and we got to the point to where now, well, when we got to the point where we were pretty much equal, we were eating out, so cooking wasn't really a
Which is a
thing.
habit we're like trying to break
Still
now
trying to break.
because
But
we don't live a dink life.
right. But at the same time, I was still doing my part in the house, right? And I was
Yeah.
still doing my part with the cars. So it's like, when I say providing, like we talked about last week, providing for me, it's more than financial. I have to care about your well-being, both physically and mentally, right? So I have to provide for you in all of these areas, not just financially. And I think a lot of times when women say they're looking for someone to provide, they're not looking for someone to provide just a basic lifestyle. They're looking for someone to provide a certain type of lifestyle. And I think that's where the hangup gets, because I feel like a lot of people want to live above their means, and they get into situations and now they're looking for people to maintain them a lifestyle for them that they could not maintain by themselves.
And I agree with that. That just reminded me of a pod that I was listening to today. That pretty much referenced that. It's like you can have a man, like let's just say for instance, you can have a man who
Mhm.
can provide 100%, right? Like you said earlier, but basic needs. Because I'm providing 100%, I can cover our bills. I can cover our mortgage. I can make sure you have groceries in the house.
But I can't pay for the
But
trips.
I can't pay for you to take a new trip with your girlfriend
buy a new
every
car.
other weekend.
Mhm.
We can't afford to be making $1,200 car note
We're not doing
payments because
$400 dinners.
because you want to drive a car
Yeah.
that's acceptable in society and to make you appear like you live this certain lifestyle because you're a kept woman who
Right.
lives a soft life.
So that's why I said the problem isn't provision. The problem is the level of provision that they require. Because like right now, I provide 100%. We could easily, well, we wouldn't save any money, but we could easily go live out of a 2-bedroom apartment and have just,
balling.
and
No.
well, no, we wouldn't be balling. 'Cause
Teasing.
we would not be balling, but we could downsize to something like that, and I maintain everything,
Yeah.
and we not have the space, right?
Yeah.
And but it wouldn't be deemed the same level of provision as what you have now,
Yeah.
because now you have your own home, your own garage, your own yard.
Yeah.
There's barriers and there's property lines involved, and we're not sharing a wall,
Yeah.
because once you stop sharing walls, you don't want to share a wall again. That's just what it is.
Like
Yes, you have.
I don't remember having a bad
I'm not gonna
neighbor.
go through detail with that, but that's what I'm saying. It's the level of the provision, right?
Mm.
And I think that's where people get caught up in, is that people want to have these standards, and it's okay to have standards, but are you meeting these standards by yourself? Don't live in a roach infested apartment
By yourself.
by yourself, but then expect someone to put you in a 5-bedroom house.
Okay, now hold on. Now that just makes me think. Because you know me, devil's advocate here. If I'm living in a roach infested apartment because that's all I can afford myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come along and you're more established and you are more financially progressed in life and things like that, why does that now, like, why should I not want what your income can provide?
There's not.
If your income, but
There's nothing wrong with wanting it. The
okay,
problem is expecting.
okay,
The
but
issues
okay,
with the
so if we're,
expectation.
but also if we're dating, right? If we're dating, if we're courting, we get engaged, which is going to lead to marriage. Why shouldn't I expect for my living arrangements to change?
Okay, but what I'm saying that there are people out there that have this expectation from jump.
Okay,
I'm not talking
I see
about
what
the
you mean.
ones where
We're already
we
invested
we're invested and we have time together.
and we've
Because
had those
if
conversations.
we're invested and we have time together, I want you out of there too.
Because you don't want
Because
me to
I'm not trying to be sleeping with a roach crawl over me. Because
You want a roach in your
everything I
ear.
wear to your house, I gotta leave there. I'm walking home naked.
You can't bring the roach eggs back home.
I'm not. They be like, "Why you always show up to my house in a swimsuit?" Because this
A
all
swimsuit, Maurice? A swimsuit? Really?
swimsuit and a white beater and Crocs. I'm not, and I got the hospital booties on.
I can't. I think with I'm just so like tired of hearing, you know, if he can't come into my life and take care of everything, then I don't need him.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Yes, you might have to start off doing 50-50 or the idea of 50-50 or you paying on some bills or whatever. But work together to get to a point where one of you can potentially provide 100%. And if
Mhm.
that is the goal, to have the man provide 100%, then let's work to get to a point where you can provide for us 100%. What I do feel like I see is, especially with a little bit of the younger generation, there's like this arrogance of men kind of wanting to be on the same level as women when it comes to things like that.
Okay.
I'm just
That's how
calling
you
it like
feel.
I see it. That's how I
On a certain on a certain level, how?
like even like the finances. Like there are men that that I have seen and that I have heard, obviously through social media, the things we watch, the things that we're consuming, where they don't feel like being 100% financial provider is fair, essentially. Like
Oh, I know people like that.
why do I have to, why should I have to share 100% of what I've accumulated in life financially, and you don't want to do nothing? Because it's like,
But I think that's a product of society, and that's a product of men are well aware of what happens in divorce, and men are well aware that we are the bigger targets, and we are. When you get to a point to where there's kids involved and there's marriage involved, we understand that we are taking all of the risk.
you took a risk when you asked her to marry you.
Okay, we understand that. Hold on, we understand that, right? So that's why I can in that instance I can see why people who will say, well, no, we're gonna go 50-50. Because in that way I have a baseline that where it's always been 50-50.
Where you've worked,
Right?
yeah.
Right. So if just in case, because like I said, men we always think in just in case we have a plan. Like a man, I don't care what you say. When a man meets another man, we size each other up. That's what we do. Whether it could be no violent intent, but it's like I'm gonna size you up just in case I gotta fight you, just in case something go down, right? So we think we're always preparing for the future of what could happen, right? So the mentality of I'm gonna keep you here working 50-50. We're gonna go. You're gonna work. I'm gonna work. We're gonna go in and we're gonna do this, that, and the third. We do that as a form, in my opinion, as a form of protection of
Mhm.
ourselves. Because as men, we understand from a very early age, no one is coming to save us. We have to put safeguards in place for ourselves because at the end of the day, we understand no one really cares about what we have, what we're going through, or what we need.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that instance, I understand. And to that, I always say that I never had that issue or had that thought with you because I've always lived in the conviction that I picked the right one.
Dang, what if I've been playing you this whole time and I've just
Then
been
I'm a
playing the
fool.
long game?
And I'm gonna be like your daddy, and everybody after you gonna get hurt.
Why? Why would you say that?
What I'm saying is I got one bridge, and if you burn it, I'm not rebuilding.
What bridge? You got one card and that's it. Once that card's been played
It's gone. I'm gonna be a man whore.
for the rest of your life, babe?
Yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't be a man whore because I'm not like that.
Not even your personality. Like, I don't even see you being a one night stand type.
I mean, I'm do what I gotta do.
Would you? Sorry, getting off topic, but would you?
I'm married, of course not.
I would if you weren't married, jerk face.
I mean, depending on the situation.
I don't know if I would be open
If
to
I think I would. I mean, if I for fact would never see you again, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, but like that's a stranger.
You don't understand. You don't understand the
know.
power of alcohol.
No, well, I haven't had alcohol in 4 years.
Yeah, you
so
don't understand that power. You
that's
know,
probably.
sometimes when you feeling right, you just want to get it off you. Walk away.
I don't know. I think it would be the flirting. I feel like if I were single, it would be like the chasing
I don't
and
know
the
if it's
flirting
that.
for me.
I honestly, I'd be like, I have to have something in common with you, or has at least some chemistry to go that way. That's just how I'm built. I'm not one of those guys that can run through. I've never been that way.
I would just be chasing
But-
that giddy feeling that you get when someone's like flirting with you and you know they like you. Like that's my thing. That's my dish.
That's why you always flirting, huh?
That's my dish.
So like, yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, if something was happening to us, I'd probably be single for a while, or I'd only get with an older woman. She got to be at least 10 years older than me. I'm dead serious. You think I'm playing?
At least.
I don't want no young girls. My back ain't for that.
Because ain't no such thing as 38 year
I'm
old.
looking for, if something happened to us, I'm looking for a nice late 40s, recently widowed or divorced young lady that where she can help my ends meet.
Teenagers.
Who can help my ends? No, her kids gotta be grown.
Not if she. You said she's in her late 40s.
Yeah.
Like, my dude, you only 2 years away from 40.
Late 40s. Yeah. So I'm 30. I'm about to be 38. So I'm looking for somebody 48.
So she could very well
40.
have teenagers.
No, grown kids only.
I don't know. I got us off track.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I'm sorry.
You did.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Just so for the record, let the record state.
Okay. Well, you got us off track last week, so.
Lucky I love your ass.
Yeah. But anywho, like I was saying, I do feel like, especially now when it comes to the whole conversation about the whole 50-50 thing, I feel
Ebbs and
like
flows.
ebbs and flows. Some men are, and I guess if I tried to put myself in a mindset of like being a man and the societal pressures that come with being like quote unquote the leader, the provider, I can understand the weight. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be just like, what if all of a sudden I now had to somehow provide for our entire
But
household?
it's not only that. I think a lot of men, because I get this way sometimes. I feel like a lot of men we just get irritated with y'all women. Cause it's
Same.
like, cause y'all want to scream equality, but hold up. I need you to take care of me though. But you want to be equal. We didn't want
to be equal in everything across the board.
But that's not how it works. You want to be equal, so we say, okay, go ahead and give me your half of the light bill, give me your half of the mortgage.
That's not.
Oh, not like that though. Not like that though.
That's not even
No,
how
but that's not it.
out.
See, that's the thing. Once you start one thing, you have to be all inclusive.
But see, y'all want
We
y'all
live in-
want y'all
hold on.
Kate and Edith
Hold on,
too.
hold on, ma'am. We live in a world.
on, man.
Yes, I did. We live in a world where you have to be all inclusive. You have to be inclusive. So, by you wanting to be equal, you know, if you say you're a modern woman, I expect half.
This is America, and I want half.
Okay.
I love you.
I'm just saying.
I love you.
So
We're
more
gonna elaborate on this.
mortgage is due soon. Cut my check.
I can't.
You better get my check or you're gonna be on the street.
All
You
right.
sleep in your car.
We're gonna go straight into. We're gonna go
Sleep in my
straight
car.
into our.
No,
2
you gonna be
cents.
sleeping in your damn car.
Who's gonna be sleeping in the
You.
car? Hi.
Cause you want to be a modern woman.
Who wants to be a modern
You.
woman? Modern woman.
Oh, you don't. You can.
I don't refer to myself as a modern woman. I refer to myself as a updated version of the system woman.
What? Updated version of the system woman? What the hell is a system woman?
I don't know. The system.
Okay, I was gonna say something, but I'll tell you off.
Okay. We're gonna go straight into our 2 cents. Okay, so I have one for you today.
Oh Lord.
All right, let's see.
Oh Lord.
This one says,
Oh Lord.
I'm becoming more aware of what my husband cannot do for me in the future, and how do I move forward?
Okay.
Okay, so I've been married to my husband for 2 years. We met back in November in 2021. We met, in November of 2021. We hit it off instantly. The time together was never ending. Our sex life was great. I finally found someone I clicked with and didn't have to take care of him because he held his own. Shortly after getting married, the sex we were having went from once to twice a week to once a month. Our conversations were single sided conversations, and the company felt like a friendship. Now, in the future, after we've had multiple conversations about it, me writing letters to him, one of our friends stepping in for advice, having conversations with my therapist about how I can do better and be a better partner for him, and how to approach these hard conversations. I truly feel like I have done everything. I have asked him to join me in therapy, and it is a sensitive subject for him and always gets cut short, or he promises but he never follows through. I feel like I'm putting in the work to better myself mentally for me and us and our future kids. I just feel stuck. I don't feel appreciated, and to be honest, I am so checked out of this marriage, I'm not sure how I can refrain from thinking to continue on. So I guess my question is, what more can I do to save this marriage? How do I know when enough is enough? Just to be clear and sum it up, I don't just think we are on the same page anymore.
I heard a whole bunch of eyes. That's all I need to know. I heard a whole bunch of eyes. I don't feel.
So
I don't this.
okay,
I don't that.
this is
I. And it's been 2 years. The honeymoon phase is dying off.
yeah.
Life is
the high is coming down.
Life is happening.
Yeah.
He's probably stressing over something, and he's not seeing. He's probably looking towards the future to make the future better than dealing with the present. A lot of these things be that y'all really don't understand how men think.
Well, I don't think
I
only that.
really
I
don't
think
understand
when
how
we
we
come
think.
in, I think when we're talking about just like marriage, this is what what I get from it. When you're in a marriage,
Mhm.
particularly, okay, um, there are multiple times within a marriage when you guys are not on the same page, and for one of you or both of you, it could feel like,
Eternity.
damn, is this it? You know what I mean? Like, is this that thing that's gonna do it? Like, I think, is this time for us to like separate? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if you have one person, like we would say that it takes two to tangle, sometimes it's not going to be two of you to get where you need to get back to where you need to get to.
Mhm.
I believe that at some points in marriage that you're going to have to carry the entire thing to try to get back to a place to where you guys can be on the same page, or at least in the same book where you're reading somewhere in the same book. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to make any hasty decisions, right?
Oh, you don't.
And if you've made a commitment to this person, you've also made a commitment to not give up so easy. And if we're only 2 or 3 years in, and the only thing that you're saying is your pinpoints of pain is the sex has decreased, conversations feel one-sided.
And I mean, we can do a whole episode on that. But you say the sex has decreased, but have you changed? Like, are you initiating, or are you waiting for him to initiate? Are you doing the things that get him going? Or is he just not showing any interest at all? Like, or is he so focused on something else? Or when he initiates, it's not the way you want him to initiate, so you throw off, or he's initiating at times where you're not in the mood. There's
Just
so
like what's
there
going on with him.
there's so many unknown things in this post. That's why I said that all I heard was a bunch of eyes. And then when I heard the 2 years, it's like it's so the honeymoon phase is over, and now the work starts. And now, since the work has started, you want to leave. And this is why I say a lot of marriages end in divorce, because people don't want to do the work. It's been 2 years and everything was great. Now life has hit, and you don't want to do the work.
But I think it's almost like that attitude of like you feeling like you've been living in like a fool's paradise. Because how does things go from being amazing and I feel like we just clicked on so many levels
Life happens.
now
Life happens.
now like we're barely intimate, we're not talking as much, you don't want to go to therapy, I'm doing this all, I'm like I'm trying to mentally strengthen myself so that I can have enough
Mhm.
mental and emotional capacity to carry the both of us, but you're also not putting in effort.
Life happens. And I can say in our 22 years together, it's like we've gone through stages of good and bad, mostly bad.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing that's kept us together this long is the determination not to give up on one another. Right?
Mhm.
So this is there as she's at a part in her marriage where she has to do the work.
Yeah, but
And
at what point?
hold on, please. And the whole concept of therapy, it's not easy for men to go to therapy because we're taught from an early age not to talk about our feelings. So for him to go to a total stranger and divulge his feelings, um, that's something that it's going to be very hard for him to overcome. And I personally feel like you're not asking him the right questions
Mhm.
in the right in the right context, in the right tone.
Just to even see like a check-in with him, like where is he mentally,
Right.
like where is his headspace, because these could be pain points for you, but these are not necessarily pain points for him, because we receive information completely differently.
Completely different.
Completely differently. So it could also be that you've expressed these as your pain points, but because he can't understand how these could be pain points for you, it's hard for him to process it. And maybe he's trying to process it and maybe is not, processing it in a way that also looks like he's trying to be helpful and be in this to rectify the situation with you.
I just feel like we live in a day and age now where people just thinks everything's so interchangeable, and they're like, "Oh, if this part of my life's not working, I'll just replace it with this." So my marriage is not working now, so I'll get rid of this one, and I'll go out and find the next one that makes me happy temporarily. Or this job's not doing, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like people don't want to do the work, and a lot of times doing the work starts with self. Like, yeah, you're going to therapy,
And that's what she's doing.
you're going to therapy, but are you asking or talking about the right things in therapy? Right? Are you trying to consider what he's going through? Are you trying to consider the things from his eyes? Because I personally, from personal experience, I can say, and I know for a fact, that my marriage got better when I start to see things through her eyes, or at least attempted to see the things through her eyes. So once you take yourself out the situation, then you might actually be able to see what is going on. But you just can't just give up after 2 years because you're not getting sex as frequently, and you're not having as good of a time as you had before you were married. Of course, you're having a great time before you're married because
It was new.
was the commitment was new, and it was paper thin. There was nothing to lose. You could walk away at any moment. But now that your lives are intertwined together, now the work starts. So you have to do the work. This is the part of marriage we always say. You have to do the work. You have to get to the underlying problem, get to the issue. Now, if you do the work, get to that issue, and it's something that cannot be maintained or fixed or amended or whatever the case may be, then you entertain the thought of walking away. But 2 years in, just because you're having one grievance, you want to be that's if that's going to be your mindset, you might as well walk away because every day is not going to be sunny, and most of them are going to be rainy.
Better get a good umbrella.
Hello. Hello.
Hey. I love you. All right, guys. That was great, babe.
Love you too.
Oh, here we go.
Huh.
I told you stop doing that. I don't like it.
Huh.
This has been another episode of Life After I Do podcast. If you are not doing so already, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Life After I Do podcast. You can also write into us at lifeafteridopodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, if there's questions you want us to answer, you can totally email us, and you can be anonymous if you choose. You get a new episode every Wednesday, guys. And until then, it's gonna be peace out for now.
Love them and leave them.